Mr Murphy, please.
This morning, RTE tell us that your government is considering relaxing the cap on bankers' pay in order to facilitate huge salary for the new Bank of Ireland CEO. The cap is already set at €500,000, yet Bank of Ireland have now said such a cap places them at a competitive disadvantage. It's worth noting that last year alone, Mr Boucher's total package was €958,000, nearly €1 million. Huge salaries, far above the £500,000 cap, were paid while the banking fiasco played out. And we were told repeatedly, if you pay peanuts, you get monkeys. And so we paid the exorbitant salaries to the experts who fiddled while Rome burned, and the people were left to pick up the pieces. Minister Noonan has himself said that because the government now holds only a 14% stake in Bank of Ireland, it can be more flexible regarding pay. Are we now about to make the same mistake by proceeding with the sale of AIB shares and further losing control of a sector which cost billions and tore the social fabric out of this country? AIB is 99.9% owned state bank. The money we pumped into AIB is not yours or mine. It belongs to the people across this country, not just this generation, but generations to come. They deserve to know that any decision taken when it comes to AIB will not happen by some arbitrary decision that you or Minister Noonan will decide to make based on the same advice or the advice of some of the experts and consultants that stood on the sidelines cheering the boom, many of whom have benefited considerably in advising how to handle the wreckage of the bust. It was heralded recently that you're considering a sizeable AIB share sale. In fact, I now read that Goodbody stockbrokers have been appointed, along with familiar names such as JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, Davy stockbrokers, among others. They've been appointed until July 2018. It would appear you seem to expect the sale to proceed almost unnoticed. Have we learned nothing from the mistakes of the past? A share sale means losing control, and losing control means a return to the same banking model that we got into trouble with in the first place. The Bank of Ireland fiasco, in terms of the salary, is a prime example. Surely you recognise that a decision of such a magnitude should be taken by democratic means and is not a simple matter for a minority government to make. It is a matter for the people of Ireland, and as such, no such sale should even be contemplated without at least a majority support, if at all. And the Social Democrats have tabled a motion on the order paper to that effect. Taoiseach, may I ask you, will you commit to producing a full cost-benefit analysis regarding any proposed share sale of AIB, clearly laying out the benefits of a share sale now, at a future point, or not at all? Will you make public the findings of that cost-benefit analysis, and will you guarantee that no decision will be taken on any AIB share sale until at least there is a vote in this Dáil?
Thank you, Deputy Taoiseach.
Deputy Murphy has raised a couple of issues there, Kilcorla. It's part of the programme for government that there would be a sale of up to 25% of AIB. The Minister for Finance has made that perfectly clear on numerous occasions and is proceeding through the process of bringing that to a conclusion. Secondly, in respect of pay rates, the situation there is that the cap remains, and if the person to succeed the current Chief Executive comes from the internal panel, the cap will still remain in place. Bank of Ireland are in a position to negotiate an arrangement with a competent, effective person if they deem somebody from outside to fulfil their requirements and their needs.
Murphy.
They're clichés for a purpose, but one that jumps to mind immediately is that if you don't learn from history, it has a tendency to repeat itself. And it looks like we're heading back to the same banking model as was in place prior to the crash. And indeed, it wasn't just the the citizens of Ireland that picked up the tab. Very many people are now in penury who had invested in these banks in terms of shares for their pensions. Taoiseach, it's absolutely essential that there's a cost-benefit analysis on whether or not to sell and when to sell if it is decided to sell. It's absolutely unconscionable that there wouldn't be a vote in this House, given that it is a minority government. And can I also ask you, Taoiseach, do you stand over, if the cap is breached, do you stand over that kind of salary for the chief executive of a bank?
Thank you, Deputy.
Somewhere in the region of €1 million. Would you stand over that?
Thank you, Deputy. Taoiseach.
I think it's important to say to Deputy Murphy, she has expressed an interest in this on many occasions, but there isn't any economic reason to sell share in AIB. There's not an economic pressure to do it. So the Minister for Finance and the Department and the Government will get the best professional advice that they can in respect of the valuation being put on the share to be sold. And that would be in the interests of the people, because it's held by the government on behalf of the people. So there's no pressure to sell it. So the Minister will get the very best professional advice that he can, and then make a decision based on that best professional advice. And as I've said to you, the cap remains in respect of salary if that person is is from the inside the bank, and if the Bank of Ireland wish to negotiate up to the level of the current chief executive with an effective, suitable, appropriate person from outside, then they have that opportunity.
Thank you, Taoiseach. That concludes leaders' questions. We move